Sports. This is Jacob Harris, and shout out to Home Squad Sports.
Hey, it's Jake Brenningsood with Home Squad Sports.
This is Seth Hennigan, here with Home Squad Sports.
Trimmer DK, wide receiver from Florida, Home Squad Sports. This is Jacob Harris, and shout out to Home Squad Sports.
Hey, it's Jake Brenningsood with Home Squad Sports.
This is Seth Hennigan, here with Home Squad Sports.
Trimmer DK, wide receiver from Florida, Home.
All right. Home Squad Sports, first show live here in Mobile. We got our brother Will Thomas, first time in the flesh. How you doing, man?
Good, man. How are you guys?
I'm good. Can't be more than happier. We are here at Jags Corner. Couldn't be more thankful for us having us. We'll be here all week for live shows. But let's go ahead and get it started. We got our last preview show before we get rocking and rolling. The trenches, fellas. O-line, D-line, where the game's won. I think this is pretty much a common knowledge now as just the years progress. People kind of just taking respect to the offense and defensive line, which I love as a former offensive lineman. So let's go ahead and get into it, fellas. I want to get your all's overall thoughts, just what we're looking at, just as far as protection and just pass rushers. Will, we'll start off with you. Do you have any just overall thoughts or anything you want to see going into the O-line, D-line?
My first overall thought is that Trey Zuhn isn't getting talked about enough.
Thank you.
I know he's a guy that you love, so we'll touch on it. But it's a solid O-line class. But for me, Zuhn is one of those top guys coming out of A&M. But there's a bunch of good guys coming out of the SEC. But then you look at, I was always due to have a good offensive lineman. Just blind trust whenever the Hawkeyes push out an offensive tackle. So there's a lot of good talent. There might not be necessarily one of those big superstars, like one of those guys that you're going to see go top 5, but it's a really deep group.
Exactly. And last year, we've seen a guy go from third round to first round in Gray Zabel. So are we going to see that this year? We can't rule it out. We don't know. We got some guys, drop out, unfortunately, but we've already got some guys added in. Dalton, I know you're more of a DB guy, but you're a Giants fan. Is there anything that maybe small offensive lineman you're looking for your Giants to get, or in general?
We definitely could use some O-linemen, man. Andrew Thomas is good, but Evan Neal, huge bust. So I'm looking for some guys that can definitely pass block is what we need. We got a good run blocking line, but we could not hold up in the pass. And we got a young quarterback, Dart. So I'm looking to see how these guys hold up in pass protection. And really, I'm looking at the D tackles, man, that, we're going to talk about too. And I'm going to see who can rush the passer. There's not many D tackles in this class that are known for getting sacks, getting pressures. And I'm going to see if they can do that this week, because if they do that, their draft stock could really rise because, like I said, there's not many guys. There's no Aaron Donalds in this class, which there's none of those in any class. But there's not even, Kobe Turners in this class, So that's what I'm interested to see.
Right, and we got some guys that are added, like Alan Heron with Maryland. He's the first guy that's been added on as of late. Got some guys dropping out. Alex Harkey, unfortunately, is not going to be there, and then Pregnon's unfortunately not going to be there as well. But that's okay. We got some guys pulling in. We got 2 guys that's played in the national championship. We got Brockemeyer at center. And then we have Big Markel, who's a guy I'm not really too familiar with, honestly. I haven't watched too much film on Markel Bell. Do you know anything about these 2 guys, Will?
I had to do a little bit more because they're such late ads, like you said.
Right.
But, they're here for a reason.
Exactly.
So, you got to have big weeks here to improve your stock. But, if you're at this bowl, you're here for a reason.
Exactly.
Isn't Beau like 368?
Yeah, well, I think the official measurements are coming in, and we're definitely getting those going. I know a lot of the guys some guys are smaller than we thought, some guys are bigger than we thought. So, those are kind of roll in as we get going for sure. Can't wait. Those are the 3 add-ons we got. So we'll see. Todd McShay's a guy who's talking about maybe some quarterbacks get added. We're going to see if those get some better protection. Who knows? But we'll see how it goes. Let's get into the offensive line, though, fellas. The American team, we got some guys. We got guys like Austin Barber. We got some guys that are, pretty, I don't know, like you said, unsung heroes, we could say, and some guys that are going to really rise up the draft. Are we going to see another Gray Zabel? Who knows? But let's go ahead and get into it. Austin Barber for Florida. We got Jude Bowry from Boston College, Fernando Carmona, Arkansas, Kage Casey from Boise State, and J.C. Davis from Illinois, who's a guy who's definitely had some love and some stuff preseason. Let's get into the second half. Parker Brailsford, who I'm not showing if he's on the roster or not, but I would love to see him if he's there. Have y'all ever heard anything? But Brailsford,
Yeah, Brailsford's off the roster.
yeah, unfortunately not on the roster, but that sucks because I want to see him 6'2" center. Anytime we can get an undersized center, I like that.
Meyer's under 300 pounds.
Yeah,
He's like 297. He weighed in today.
today.
That's an undersized center for you. Meyer is only 6'3", 297.
Yeah, that's very surprising. And it's like, okay, if you're going to the pros, you go to college, putting weight on somebody is not something out of the ordinary. But when you go into the pros, like, okay, how much weight can we put on you?
Yeah.
We got to look at a guy like Evan Neal. I mean, wasn't Evan Neal a guy that came in as a tackle, now he's a guard?
Yeah.
And he's a guy, maybe he has issue, putting on weight or putting on good weight. That's why some people kind of hating on Will Campbell coming in. It's like, all right, how much good weight does he have? And is he I've heard like slim thick, pause, but I've heard slim thick to describe Will Campbell, and it's actually pretty accurate. But you said under 300 pounds for a center, for an NFL offensive lineman, it's pretty surprising. We had the guy from North Carolina last year, and he was like, what, 5'11"? He was under 6 foot at center, and he had a good week, though. But, we'll see happen. Unfortunately, Parker Brailsford won't be there. But the American team, I like what they're doing. I mean, J.C. Davis is probably one of my favorites, but I like how you brought up my guy, Trey Zuhn, Will. We can go in and get into Trey Zuhn here, the offensive line. He is going to be on the national team. So, as far as the national team, I mean, I think this is definitely has the advantage here with Trey Zuhn and Gennings Dunker, just on those two, honestly. Maybe I'm, being a little hater, but if you throw in a guy like Keylan Rutledge, who's a guy I was able to scout preseason, those are guys we're going to have to watch out for. And then Jalen Farmer from Kentucky, our neck of the woods. I'm really curious to see what he does, but I want to get your thoughts, Will. Jennings Dunker. I think he is an offensive lineman where no matter who you talk to, you're kind of going to maybe get a different answer from. Mm-hmm. I thought people would be more in love with him, especially, like you said, coming from Iowa, just an offensive line school. What's your thoughts on Jennings?
Yeah, he's an incredibly well-rounded player. There's not really one, whether it's pass blocking or run blocking, that you can really get bothered by.
Right.
Last year he had a top 10 overall offensive grade in the country. This year he was top 20, so he's been consistent. It's not like he just caught lightning in a bottle with, one system or one set of plays. Like, he's been doing this at Iowa for a while.
Right.
And, you're not going to get that recognition all the time because you're an offensive lineman, but the blind faith in a Hawkeyes lineman, and then you're looking at what he's been able to do. Like, Dunker's just been incredibly productive. He's been doing what he has to do. He's been doing it at a really high level. So I'm excited to see him this week. 6'5", 315. He'll be very hard to miss on the field. So he should have a pretty good week out here.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Iowa offensive linemen are hard to miss.
Yeah.
Because their size and the way they play. Yeah. They're just good offensive linemen. They've ran the same offense for how long now, and they've had the same results, which is some pretty good successful years. I mean, you just run the ball, ground and pound. They're not really, I guess, changing what they do. Mm-hmm. Iowa's done what they've always done, and I like that. Same thing, a team like Wisconsin, maybe that, as double-edged sword, they maybe need to switch up a little bit. Maybe it's, a team like Clemson. Those are a couple schools that they've always done what they've done. They recruit who they recruit. And Iowa's, always going to have those big hog mollies up front. Jennings Dunker being one of them, and I think he's going to shoot up boards. I don't like putting grades on guys, especially right now. I like kind of doing that once the pads and helmet finally comes off, which is pretty much now. Yeah. So the Jennings Dunker, I think right now, haven't seen him in person yet. We'll see him in person starting this week. I'm thinking second round. I think late second round, assuming he has a good week. I think he is going to have a good week.
Yeah.
Iowa offensive lineman, maybe I'm giving him too much of the benefit of the doubt, but I've just seen too much film on him at this point to hate on him or to doubt him. Now it's like, okay, prove me wrong.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Trey Zuhn. Prove me wrong. I think he's going to have a hell of a week, like you said. I'm glad you brought him up. A lot of the guys hating on him because of his arm length. We know his trainer, Matt McChesney, product of 6-0 Academy. So if he gets his stamp, he's got our stamp, in my opinion, just because he knows ball. And Trey Zuhn's a guy who's just been around, played a lot of damn snaps, played a lot of games, and has made minimal mistakes. He plays tackle. I know a lot of people don't like him because he plays tackle, but I don't think he's going to play tackle in the league. Mm-hmm. Do you all think he may be getting moved inside? What do you think?
I think he definitely could be. I mean, you have a guy with that skill set. You got to find a spot on the line for him.
Right.
It doesn't really matter where he plays. You have to be able to be willing to put a blocker like that on the line. And for Dunker, you get NFL reps. You can't be picky about where you want to play. So I do think he could definitely move in if that's what's best for the situation that he's at.
Agreed. I think both Trey Zuhn and Dunker, I think they're guards for sure, and they're long-time guards. That's why I kind of look at and I don't want to be a guy who always assumes just to move him inside because it's easier said than done. Yeah. Just because you can play left doesn't mean you can play right tackle, and just because you can play guard doesn't mean you can play center. Mm-hmm. And I think as a former center, a lot of people say, okay, we'll just throw him at center. It's not that easy, and it's I think we've learned that. And then last year, Gray Zabel got reps at center, and then Trey Zuhn got reps at center this year because he had to fill in, for some injuries. So very versatile, and that's what they want to see. So these guys, we already know they're versatile going into the Senior Bowl. I think that's only a plus. So right now, I know we haven't got into the D-line, but is there an advantage that you're looking right now? Because we can only grade off paper. We haven't seen these guys. But with the American and national roster, before we get into the D-line, do you think they're going to have their work cut out for them with the pass rush, or what are you thinking?
I mean, I think Dalton kind of nailed it at the beginning when he brought up that there aren't really many great pass rushing D tackles, at least. And like the edges, like Ruben Bain was supposed to be here. Now he's not. Cassius Howell isn't. So you kind of have these great defensive linemen who were going to be here and now they're not. So these offensive linemen, obviously, the D linemen who are still here are great players, but those superstars that we thought they were going to be going against, they're not really had to play against this week, actually.
Exactly. Yeah. And what do you think, Dalton?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's just Bain and Bailey leaving and Hal sucks. Those are the three best guys here in terms of the edge rushing class. But I still really do like the edge rushing class. It's not to say that there's still a lot of studs here. It's just the D tackles, man. I really do have a lot of questions about. There's no guys here that had. I don't even think there's one guy that had 5 sacks. The D tackle group, and that's rare. So it's just. I think these guys are going to have to be better in run blocking than pass blocking this week. I think pass blocking would be, they would have faced guys like this already. But the run is where it's going to be tough. And the guy I got the biggest questions about is J.C. Davis, actually, from Illinois, because I watched Illinois a lot this year. And, man, that Duke game, when he was facing Vincent Anthony, who's here also, man, he had 3 sacks on him. J.C. Davis couldn't block him. And he couldn't block a lot of guys this year. And I know he was first team Big Ten last year. So maybe I don't know what happened to him this year, but he needs a big week because he struggled this year, man. He really did.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's a good point. And I think J.C. Davis is another guy. I think I kind of at fault too because maybe we see him play a little bit more inside as we go in. But, yeah, we never know. And that's the best thing about the Senior Bowl. We're going to see really where these NFL guys like them at. Yeah. They get to interview them all week. They say, okay, I know what you've done on film for, so-and-so school A, school X, but this is what we do, and this is what we want you to run. And, a lot of systems are tailor-made for the NFL. It's a seamless fit, and some aren't. Mm-hmm. And some you have to do a lot of adjusting. And that's where all 22 can only tell you so much. That's why that's why we have the Senior Bowl. If we just drafted off film, we wouldn't have a Senior Bowl. Mm-hmm. It's the best thing about it. That's why I love it. So, the game's won, O-line and D-line. I want to get your all's thoughts with the big names dropping out. I'm not too, I guess, because last year we had some big names drop out at the end. David Bailey dropping out and Ruben Bain. Some people are kind of hating on Ruben Bain all of a sudden, saying he may be slipping a little bit. Do you want to see a bona fide, surefire top 30 pick in? Is that what the Senior Bowl's for you? What is your opinion? I don't think the Senior Bowl really lost any quality losing these top guys. I think we're still going to see dogs, and we're still going to see guys move their way up into the first round. What do you think on maybe not some of the big names, but I don't think the quality is going to go down. What do you think?
I don't think it will either. In the case of Bain, is he going to be a really high draft pick regardless of whether he plays here or not? Yes.
Right.
He does have concerns about his arm length, though. Those are public concerns. So in my mind, it was probably still worth him showing up. Right? Because we know we can dominate these guys, but just come do it for another week. You come put some more tape on there. So for Bain, I don't think it's really going to hurt his draft stock. I think a lot of that's just kind of people wanting to talk. Yeah. And to your point, still all these guys are still going to be NFL players. We still got a bunch of NFL guys that were still on the field this week. So despite those elite dropouts, you still have a lot of really, really good players who are still going to be here. And now do we feel like they get their chance to really shine and maybe take those spot as elite players?
Exactly. And then it move next guy up mentality, right? We have that with injuries, and I don't want to. I want to see him, and the arm length is a real thing, especially when you got these freaks. When you got really guys that are built as a tackle playing guard now. Mm-hmm. Every position's getting bigger. We got corner getting bigger. Every position's just getting bigger on with measurables, in my opinion. So I think with the arm length, I'm a little worried. But this guy did play 16 games, and it's just man, I try not to knock him out because dude played a hell of a season, and it was a long season. I know he didn't win the Natty, but, I would just like to see him one more week because we've been hearing about him all damn year, and I think maybe he's heard from a team he really likes, and maybe he just has been told, hey, man, we really like you. We're not letting you slip past this point. Maybe it's the weather. Maybe we just don't know why he's not here, but it sucks, but we wish he was here. But, the D-line's still going to be good, which we can go ahead and get into now. But the offensive line's definitely got their work cut out for them. And we'll see really what we're going to do with these pass rushers and who's going to really fill in the gaps and, fill in for these guys that are breaking off. So let's go ahead and with the American team here. We got Cameron Ball from Arkansas, Caleb Banks from Florida, Nick Barnett, South Carolina, Rashawn Benny from Michigan, Tim Keenan from Alabama, one of my favorite defensive linemen, and Chris McKellen from Missouri. I want to get your thoughts, guys, on the Gators. Caleb Banks, we'll start up with you, Will. What do you think of Caleb Banks, or really, what are you looking to see from him?
I just kind of want to see him get a week of healthy reps because he missed 10 games this year with an injury. He came back for the last 2, which I admired a lot because at that point, Florida was 3-7.
New coach.
Coach is fired. He already knows he's going pro. He had no reason to come back and play in those games. Then he did, and he played really, really well. So he only had those 2 games this year, but underestimate him at your own risk. He had 4.5 sacks last year as a defensive tackle in the interior. He's just a total space consumer, run stopper kind of guy, and people have kind of forgotten about him because he didn't play that much football this year. That's why I'm really happy that he's here this week because he's going to remind a lot of people of how good he is on that D-line.
I mean, for his size, man, 6'6", 330, how he can move and get to the pass rusher. He's to me, he's not even being a homer. He's my favorite D tackle prospect in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
If he was healthy, he's on, first rounder unquestioned, I think. He definitely struggled with injuries this year. And his production really, he did have good production last year, but most of it came at the, last 3 games. He dominated Ole Miss and LSU last year at the end of the season. Mm-hmm. And that's where most of his stats came from. So, yeah, he really doesn't have that many good games on film, actually. But it's just the talent level is there, man. I think when you compare him to the rest of the D tackles in this group on this team, he by far has a high ceiling as a pass rusher. I mean, Keenan is, 330. He's just a pure run stopper. McClellan pretty much the same. I mean, I count him as a nose tackle kind of. Mm-hmm. And then Benny, he don't have much pass rush production. Cameron Ball and Nick Barrett either. So if you want pass rush, I think Banks is the guy to hang your hat on. And if he's not healthy, though, it's going to be a tough week to pressure the passer from inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I guess the big question is, all right, how are they really going to go after the quarterback as much as we think? We don't know with play calling. That's why my question is with Dalton. He's a DB guy. It's like, all right, you fill me in. Where do you look at for a good, points of emphasis and to look at? It's like, all right, that's a guy when we're not hitting a lot, we're not going to the ground. What are you all looking for? And that's the thing with D-line as well. If we're not bringing the quarterback to the ground, we're going to be going full tilt definitely with one-on-ones. Mm-hmm. But with the scheme and with 11 on 11 out there, we only get about 1 period of that a day. And that's where the money's made for a lot of these guys. With Gray Zabel, as an offensive line guy, hands up, I didn't know too much about Gray Zabel coming in. Right. And so, I mean, we met his parents there last week. I talked to his parents about 20 minutes, and we was so good. We were just telling him, congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Zabel, because, God, he's a hell of a player. He played 3 positions in the line throughout the week. Starting the Super Bowl now. Yeah, right, exactly. Starting in the Super Bowl. Yeah, exactly. That's right, and which is crazy. Yeah, which is crazy. The Seahawks are back in, and Gray Zabel just goes to show you if you add a quality offensive lineman in the first round, what it can do for you, as well as a company that with good quarterback play. But you can't have one without the other. Mm-hmm. Name me a quarterback that's done really good with a really bad offensive lineman, and name me an offensive lineman, that's played really great, and the quarterback's just done really bad. It doesn't really happen too much. I mean,
the only guys like Mahomes, man.
Yeah, but when
terrible line a couple times he won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't great, but they weren't horrible. They weren't a liability.
Yeah,
because
maybe 1 or 2 years they might have been, honestly, but their defense carried them, honestly. The Chiefs' defense didn't get enough credit during that run.
Chris Jones. Yeah. What a dog.
And their secondary was always really good.
Chris Jones is the dog. That's my guy. But
Trey McDuffie's a beast. And their defense has just been underrated the whole time they were dynasty.
Yeah.
It's over now, but.
Yeah, I think it's over. But then some people saying, like, they might grab Jeremiah Love first round. I'm like, gosh, that's scary. It's like, they could. And then. They could, but yeah, I'm curious to see what they could. I think it is refreshing, like we said, seeing our guy Gray Zabel in the Super Bowl. So hats off to him. And who knows if we'll see somebody in the Super Bowl next year? I mean, odds are we might. Mm-hmm. But sticking on D lineman, I mean, Tim Keenan's a guy I really want to see this week. He's a really violent guy. Just a violent player. His thud, his push is just insane. He creates separation, and I don't really think it's an arm length thing. It's just because he's so damn powerful. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's just a man, and I can't wait to see Tim Keenan. So that on the squad, I really think Tim Keenan's my favorite, in my opinion, there on the American squad. But for the national squad, let's get into that, fellas. They got guys like Zane Durant. We got some names here. Let's go ahead and get into Zane Durant, Bryson Easton from Tennessee. Devin Easton from Minnesota, Grayson Halton from Oklahoma, and then Lee Hunter, who's a guy I'm very excited to see. And okay, I'm gonna butcher this name, Jeffrey Imba. Is it Imba? Imba? Okay, SMU. I like SMU a lot. Shout out to Coach Lashley. We met Coach Lashley here last year. Walked up to him directly. I said, "I've never seen a team wide receivers block downfield like you all did last year." And hopefully we see him again.
I got 2 receivers here this year too.
Yeah, so hopefully he comes in when all the coaches come. Sucks that Pregnon and Harkey's not going to be here because I was really wanting to see Dan Lanning.
Oregon guys here?
Is there?
Is World still here?
Yeah, I think so, but I'm not sure. And then Dominic Orange, Iowa State. Yeah, Is he?
Bryce Botcher is the only one
Okay.
from Oregon.
So, yeah.
He'll come. Just one player.
Yeah, so that sucks. I really wanted to see Dan Lanning. Yeah, when all the Oregon guys dropped off, they kind of all dropped off, just bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
And then you're like, damn, you're not going to see any Ducks come around here, but it's all right.
I mean, a lot of them came back to school. That would have been here.
That's true.
And Teo Uvalde and Tatum Toa.
It's weird.
Amari Washington.
It's weird. Like Oregon they have so much talent coming back, but they have so many holes to fill.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy.
Receiver for sure.
Yeah, and I'm rooting for them, obviously.
And, they got a good tight end.
Who they got coming in? Who's
Jamari Johnson is their tight end too. He's a transfer from Louisville. He's gonna be better than Kenyon Shadiq, bro.
I remember I was watching quarterback tape this past like couple of weeks ago of a high school guy, and I'm like, damn, this tight end's good. I looked him up. He's committed to Oregon. I'm like, all right, that's like he's pretty good. So yeah, Oregon's always gotten some solid tight ends. Sadiq is, I mean, we'll do a sidetrack here. What's your tight end one? Do you got Sadiq?
It's probably Sadiq for me.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't love this tight end class at all. I think Sadiq is undersized, and he's a better blocker than pass catcher, and he's 245. So he just he has no run after catch ability. It seems like as soon as he's first guy gets him, he gets down. And for a tight end, you don't love that. I do love his game. I like his game a little bit, but he's not a first round talent to me, and I think he'll go first round.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any of these tight ends this year are first round worthy. But the tight ends lately have been killer, so we were due for a bad class, or not even bad. Just it's deep still. It's just not top heavy.
Yeah.
Which we've been having, like we said, Brock Bowers lately, and Loveland and Tyler Warren last year. We don't have those guys, I don't think. I don't think we have any of those.
Mason Taylor. I mean, such a good tight end class. We were watching the Todd McShay podcast last night. It's a couple days old, but we were just kind of just bored and watching that. And Minch on there, his co-host, was bringing up he loves this tight end class. What do you think about this tight end class as a sidetrack before we kind of finish up with D-line?
I think I agree with you guys. Like, I mean, there's no superstar, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But like you brought up, like, there's no Bowers, there's no Warren, there's no real, like, measuring stick for these guys to be compared to.
Right.
Like, I do think Sadiq is the top guy, but like Dalton said, like, he's a hell of a blocker, but nothing downfield really blows my mind. And that's sort of what the NFL is kind of leaning towards with the guys like Bowers and Warren kind of running to that position. Guy like Kyle Pitts, who I still believe in forever. But yeah, there's not really a superstar. So it's not a horrible class, but there's not really those like two standouts. So I'm like, that's a guy who I'm watching in this pre-draft process.
I love it. Now, Minch, I'm just like, all right, I'm too easily influenced. But after hearing his rant on the tight ends last night, I'm like, is this a deeper tight end class than I thought? He's bringing up Justin Jolly. He's bringing up Trigg. I mean, these are guys that is a little deeper. He's like, don't be surprised if you see these guys in the playoffs next year making plays. So I'm like, all right, now I'm like testing myself and thinking, am I an idiot? Am I thinking this tight end class is just not that good, or they just slept on? So maybe this tight end class will get a little bit better, this week, plays out, and with compression short season coming up with pro days and combines. So we'll see. Either way, it cannot still be, two things can be true. It can still be a solid tight end class, but not as good as last year's.
Yeah, Joshua Cuevas is good. Tanner Kozel is good. Justin Jolie, I do like a lot. So it's a bunch of good guys, but it's not any great guys. But to your point, that does not make it a bad class.
One more thing about tight ends, man, is I think it's a position that when you're drafted high, you hit, and if you're drafted low, you're not that good. It seems like tight ends, a position like NFL got the best read on. Like the best tight ends all went first or second round in the league, right? The guys we just mentioned, they were all first round picks. None of them were fifth or sixth round or sleepers. That's the thing about tight end. Like if you go for it, fifth or sixth round, it looks like you're probably not going to be like a star, Like they really have a good way to read tight ends. It seems like it's the hardest position for NFL scouts to miss. And I don't know why that is, but they're usually right about them. The guys that go first round are usually good, and the guys that go late are usually not that good at tight end. And other positions, you don't see that. It's a lot more late round finds in tight end.
I agree. I think you really brought up a good point, because if they're not getting it wrong, when in my opinion, correct me if I'm wrong, tight ends are being asked to do more than they ever have.
Yeah.
So it's like you really should have been harder to get the good guys. And it's like, all right, what other positions do you guys, if just doing some history lesson here, what other positions in the past couple of years you think you have to be way more talented there than maybe his last couple of years? I think linebacker's kind of a trade-off. Yeah, they're not as big, and they're not as thumpers, but they're really good at passing. Nickels are everywhere now. They weren't 5-10 years ago. Is there another position that you're like, all right, you definitely have to be an absolute beast, a dog, to even get a couple snaps or a cup of tea in the league?
My mind just went to edge rusher because of just how much of a priority they've become. Like I think the Eagles Super Bowl last year showed that. Like if you have a pass rush that is going to mess everybody up, nothing's going to happen for them.
Right.
So I think that just that sort of premium on what a great pass rush can do has kind of made that happen with edge rushers and interior linemen also.
I think lately the hardest position to get right is corner.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of good stud DBs in the league right now, especially like shutdown corners. So there's no Revis right now. I mean, Sartain's good, but he can be beat. Stingley can be beat. There's no like pure shutdown corners, and I don't see any in this class really either. So that's getting hard to find every year because a lot of the guys, they're playing receiver instead. Receivers get more money. Offense is where you get paid. Defense wins championships. Offense wins games. That's what people say. So I just think a lot of the good guys that could be playing corner are playing receiver now instead. And that's why corners is really hard lately, man. You see a lot of guys going late that play a lot more than the guys that went first or second round lately. And it's just a really hard spot to evaluate because you're looking at guys that didn't cover a lot of good receivers. You draft them early, and then they ain't used to the competition. And then you see guys that also they were helped by their teammates in college, like Ohio State corners, LSU corners, just big programs. They're helped by the pass rush and the schemes and having other studs, and then they don't look as good when they have to play man in the NFL. So it's just a really hard position to evaluate. I think corner is the hardest right now for scouts.
Okay, and then you think it's like hard for the players too. I mean, you have to be so damn talented.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you don't know where the other guy's going, dude, and you got to run backwards.
Yeah, exactly.
It's quarterback.
DB's always been hard. It's never been easy.
Yeah,
so.
you have to backpedal and keep up with the best athletes in the world. You don't know where they're going.
Quarterback and corner. I think corner's the second hardest spot in football. I might be biased, but behind quarterback, I think it's second, and then I would say line's third. But running back and linebacker are the easiest. You just got to be physical to play that position.
Yeah, and I think your interior D lineman, man, you just got to just put your head down and just go. It's downhill. It's offensive line's kind of relative to corner. You got to be pedaling backwards while guys coming at you forward. Right. It's definitely some similarities. So yeah, O line, D line, they got some guys their work cut out for them, and I cannot wait because I think it's nothing but sleepers here. Trey Zuhn, I think, is just going to get so much love, and you know what? I'm not going to be an "I told you so" guy. I'm just going to invite everybody, more the merrier, to the Trey Zuhn party. Let's all just, celebrate Trey Zuhn and just, the great football he plays. But as for just some of these other guys, just to kind of touch on, it sucks we're not getting Parker Brailsford, man. Just as a 6'2" offensive line. We're seeing more and more of those, as we get into the league, those 6'2" centers, because I don't know. I don't think I wouldn't want a 6'5" center. I wouldn't need him. I really would like mine like a bookcase. I want mine chronological and built like a pyramid.
What's your Jake Slaughter read then? He's up at 6'4".
Yes, I'm glad you said that because I have his measurables here. I just saved those last night. Okay, thank you. So Jake Slaughter, that was official. That was a Senior Bowl measurements, right? 6'4", perfect. Okay, because NFL Draft Buzz had him at 6'5", which I'm like, he didn't look 6'5", but only 1 inch. So they had him at 6'5", 303, which I was like, I need to see this in person. So at 6'4", I'm like, you're right at the threshold where I'm like, anything taller, I'm like, it's just a hard time moving and staying low. Low man wins. Yeah. It's a low man wins position. And if Diego Pavia is going to have the hard time seeing because of his height, I get it. Well, a 6'4", 6'5" offensive lineman center is going to have a hard time getting low. It goes both ways. So, but I think he's right there. I wouldn't say he's too tall for me. I would take him, but anything taller, I wouldn't do. These are the measurements I don't have. These are not Senior Bowl measurements. These are NFL Draft Buzz, so we can, I guess, compare them. Jennings Dunker, do we have anything on him? Because Draft Buzz has him at 6'5", 315.
What? 6'5", 315, 6'4", 320.
6'4", 320 is the official. Okay, perfect. I like this.
5 more pounds, only 1 less inch. Oh, it's a lot. I'll take that trade.
So you're pretty much saying this guy's a guard.
Yeah,
he is going to be a guard. There's no question this guy's going to be a guard. Yeah, I think he's going to be a guard, no question. And then Austin Barber. So Jake Slaughter I had at the 6'5", and then he came in at 6'4". Austin Barber, NFL Draft Buzz, has him at 6'6", 314.
6'6", 318.
He is. He right. He is that true tackle.
Barber's a big.
You ain't moving him inside. And you could watch it on film. He don't need to be moved inside. He played. The Florida O-line was great. They just didn't have a good play caller.
Yeah.
Or quarterback. Yeah, you're right.
Barber is one of my guys, though. I mean, he had the second best run block grade in the country this past year, 83.5 overall offense grade. And he's like, this is a little more anecdotal, but like I was at the Florida FSU game when Florida's season was over. And it was on Jaden Ball's, I think, 25th touchdown of that game. Like, he's on his ass, and he just, as ball's going, he looks at the FSU sideline and he just chomps in their faces. Like, he just loves playing football, and he plays it with such an intense passion that is, I think, is infectious to the rest of the O-line. So, like, a guy like that who has that sort of energy, that sort of juice, even when the game doesn't matter and the team is sort of out of gas, like, he'll still play with that motor, and he has the size and the results to really back that up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even being a homer. I love the Florida linemen in this game. I think they're going to have a big week. I think Slaughter's the best center here, at least, on paper. It doesn't mean much, but we'll see this week. I really think both the Florida guys' stocks are going to go up, and as well as Carmona. Man, I like Carmona a lot.
Mhm.
He's a really underrated guy. He was the best thing about Arkansas's offense. I mean, when Mike Washington had a big gain, it was behind him.
Yeah. I mean, the Arkansas offense was really, really good this year. Well, I think they only won 2 games. That offense was one of the best in the country.
That's
Then
true.
obviously starts with the O-line, and Carmona was the leader of that group. I mean, he's 6'5", 325. Let me actually make sure that that's the updated measurement for him. If I can type his name right, that'd be kind of
Yeah,
cool.
and like you said, okay, I got a question. Brailsford, or not Brailsford, he's not going to be here. I'm talking about Georgia Tech guy, Rutledge. Keylan Rutledge. Is there an official measurement for him?
6'3", 316.
Wow, that's a guard. That's a guard. So he had it. NFL Draft Buzz had him at 6'4", 320.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a guard. I like him a lot. He's a guy I scouted this past summer. So shout out to him. Really curious. Now, you would think with being 2026 now, I feel like the measurements would have caught. Like we would know the real measures by now. But up until this day, we're the last college football game it's like sanctioned, and we're still getting measurements. We still don't know how big these guys are. So that's something. I don't know if I'm mad about that or I like it because these are kind of pleasant surprises, in my opinion.
I mean, ESPN has Pavia at 6 feet, and he measured it at 5'9" this morning. So a lot of these schools are kind of, they're flubbing the numbers a little bit.
Yeah, and it's like, all right, program height and weight, but they don't hand out programs anymore. So I thought maybe we were like, okay, that'll start coming to light. We'll get more accurate measurements, but that is, that's a good thing about Senior Bowl. They're getting the official measurements before the combine. We get those now. That's another great thing about the Senior Bowl. So, yeah, I love that. That just goes to show, like, tackles, man, like, they're just harder and harder to find. And we'll see. A tackle 1. Do y'all have Big Francis as tackle 1? Or I think Francis Mingawa. Is it Mingawa? Malagoa. That's my guy. I think right now he's my tackle 1.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, he's a beast. You see it during the playoff run, man. That's when he really made his money. He already made his money. He was preseason lineman 1. He did nothing to make his shot go down, I don't think. He's a stud. Really strong. He's the strongest lineman I think I've seen this year.
Yeah. And shout out to Coach Matt McChesney, just reposted the stream. Shout out to you, man. 6-0 Academy, the best in the nation. We Trey Zuhn, product of 6-0, long list. It'll only keep on coming. The 6-0 guys. Shout out to Jackson Roper. Just took his visit to Oregon the other day. So thanks for Coach Matt for reposting. Really appreciate it. We'll definitely catch up with Trey Zuhn throughout the week. But fellas, before we kind of end it, I want to get your thoughts on Delby Lemieux. Delby Lemieux is an offensive lineman that's here, that's getting a lot of love. He's from Dartmouth. If you know about him, hats off to you. But I did not know about this guy until he was announced. So I watched some stuff on him, and supposedly he's been getting some love. He's put on some weight this past year. So maybe that's going to be a big sleeper. Is that our Gray Zabel this year? We don't know. I think it won't be a Gray Zabel as far as a third round to a first round. This is a guy maybe going from an unnamed to maybe a third round, or you don't know him until, or it just maybe a day 2 guy. We don't know. But that is a guy, Delby Lemieux. Get familiar with him, out of Dartmouth, big guy. We'll see if they throw him inside at all. We'll see. Very that's the guy, unicorn we're going to look at. We don't really know. So Jennings Dunker, Trey Zuhn, Delby Lemieux, 3 guys to watch out for on this offensive line that I think are really going to go up draft boards, and no question about it. They're all here for a reason. Everyone is here because they can ball. If no one hasn't been scouted, you think just because he's from Dartmouth, they don't have film on him? They have plenty. They have, and Fabianich, the new director, he said, I got 2 years of film on him. So he's been watching him since last year. So I was kind of skeptical. I was like, all right, they're bringing him in. Senior Bowl's known for doing that. They're always going to bring in some small school guys as well as the top guys. It's the best thing about it. And when I saw Delby get announced, I'm like, what is this? Is this a guy who's just overlooked? Or is this a guy who's just, has the kind of benefit of the doubt from the ball knowers of the ball knowers? So we'll see. I think Delby Lemieux is a guy to look out, but Jennings Dunker is a guy I'm really happy that he's here. We can't really focus on the people that aren't here anymore. The guys that are here, and it's here. The process has started. The draft in Mobile, it's a real thing because, there's no lies told. It's the last really college game we get, and everything under the sun's happening. We have every NFL team represented. We saw a Falcons guy yesterday. Everybody's here. This is it. And it's kind of like a banquet as well as like a starter gun to the draft process is my favorite thing about it. So, but the O-line and D-line, I'm really curious to see. Pretty much covered mostly everything. That's not O-line. But Trey Zuhn, man, I can't talk about him more than enough. And then James Brockermeyer. I want to see him. I want to see, his top-heavy strength. I want to see if he can just move guys and maul them. That's a guy I'm really excited to see. But for D-line, I think that's a couple of guys I'm like, all right, the last team?
I didn't talk about some of these guys.
Okay. So D-line for the national team, Zane Durant, fellas. Penn State, that's a guy who I love a lot. Give me your thoughts on Zane Durant and maybe where you see a fit for him as far as on the field and a team. What do you think?
Well, he's the reason I'm interested in him. He's very undersized for D tackle. I think he weighed 290 today, but he's also got the best pass rusher in this class, I think, at D tackle. So if he can put on a couple pounds when he gets to the league, maybe get to 3 and keep the same juice as a pass rusher, he could be a steal, like a huge steal. So I'm really excited to see him. He needs to be in a scheme where, a 4-3, I think. I don't think he needs to be the only D tackle on the field. He needs help. He needs a guy that's, 330 beside him and can take up double teams in the run game, or he won't be effective in the run. But, man, I really think he's going to be a great pass rusher in a 4-3 scheme.
Okay. And then, Will, what do you think of Zane Durant? Or do you kind of want to find out more about him, or do you have maybe a fit for him at the next level?
I mean, Zane, I do want to see him this week because, like I told him today, he's undersized. So I do want to see what that looks like, up close. But obviously, I mean, got 4 sacks this year. Even had a pick as a D tackle, which is just awesome. So he's here for a reason, like you've been saying. He put up some good stats. But I do like Lee Hunter a lot. He's 6'4", 225. He's from Mobile, so he's coming back home for this week. He had 2.5 sacks and a forced fumble this year. Obviously, he was part of that unbelievable defensive line that Texas Tech had, so he didn't always get the shine because of those edge guys. But Lee Hunter, he's a little smaller than Caleb Banks. He's putting up the same numbers. So I think Hunter and Banks are kind of comparable, at least numbers-wise, so I'm excited to see him also.
Yeah, I think you made a good point with that because, I'm really curious to see. And then Big Citrus.
Mm-hmm.
What about Big Citrus?
That's what I had pulled up.
So ESPN has him at 6'4", 325. Do we have officials on Dominique Orange? I mean, he's been talked about, the name, the game. You pretty much know him. Him and Corleone was pretty talked about guys on the interior defensive line. But Dominique Orange is definitely going to have some things to prove. If is he here? He
dropped out.
Did he drop
He's on
out?
the roster.
Wow, that sucks. That sucks.
And he dropped off last minute.
Wow. Okay. Well, we don't.
That sucks. But
Yeah, we don't have Dominique Orange.
He only had 9 tackles this year, no sacks. He wasn't very productive this year. I mean, he still took up double teams, but 9 solos, 0 sacks, 0 forced fumbles. I mean, he's the guy I think needed to be here and produce. So it sucks he's not here, but I'm sure I hope he has a good reason. I'm sure he does. But another guy, Grayson Holton is another guy I'm excited to see. He's a good pass rusher too. I mean, you watch Oklahoma, their whole D line was just great. Their whole defense was great.
Mm-hmm.
Their offense was terrible. Defense was great. And Holton was a big reason, man. He's another guy that I forgot about kind of when we were talking about. He's a good pass rusher too. I think this the national team has the big advantage at the D tackle pass rushing.
Okay. Yeah.
But the Americans got the run stopping.
I'm very bullish on Venables defensive guys all the times. So I mean, anyone from Oklahoma on defense, I do want to see them because they're going to be. I know they're going to be coached well. So the question is, do you have the athletic profile that you can really show this week during like a camp setting to really shoot at the board? So anybody from Venables, I do like on the defense side of the ball.
And then as for interior defensive linemen, it's you're either plugging up the middle, making lanes for your other guys, or you're just dominating, making the play yourself, pulling to Jalen Carter. Do you all look at sacks as a big stat for interior defensive lineman, for a nose guard, for a guy who's going to play a little 3-tech? Is Will, what do you think for sacks? Is that a big thing you look at? Because I brought that up because, like you said, Dominique Orange doesn't have a lot of sacks. And then he's not here, unfortunately. But so let's talk about guys that are here. Tim Keenan. Tim Keenan, the hype's starting here with me, and it's never probably going to stop unless, hell freezes over. So Birmingham, Alabama native, going to have some family here. 2 sacks on the year. I don't look at that as a big red flag. I look at, you have to look in between the lines with that guy. Is sacks is the big thing you look at with interior defense linemen or no?
Not at all.
Yeah,
not at all. That's not really their job. If you get a sack from them, that's great. That's always a bonus. But you do need that guy who's able to just swallow up the running game or just take a double team so that the guy you're drafting in the first round off the edge, he can go get the sacks. You just kind of got to be that sort of unit where the D tackle knows that it's not necessarily his job to go get the quarterback. He's got to just be a presence, take up that attention, and do it. So, I don't care about sacks at all. I don't really care about tackles too much with D tackles either, to be honest with you. I mean, you just got to be there and take up space, and, you cut the tape to see, your true value as a player.
Yeah, and it's really weird because I want to see a host of guys. Assisted tackles are good with me.
Mm-hmm.
If you're actually in the play or putting your nose in, that's a thing I'll look at. But like you said, stats aren't the biggest thing. They like you said, they don't tell the story with interior defensive linemen. So we'll see. We'll get the most notes on D linemen that we didn't have. Because we're like, all right, we didn't get to see that there on film, and It's the best thing about, I think, with Senior Bowl. Is they're placed everywhere. Even if you're not going to play that in a league, we want to see if you can even remotely fill in. Because guess what? We're going from 85 to 53 man roster from college to NFL.
Yeah.
These coaches are stingy. They want you to play and do everything, which I think that is another discussion. Which 53 is just not enough. I know guys don't want to give up money, and they don't want to get paid. Only so much money to go around. That's why the NPA doesn't go under 82 games, because they don't want to give up money. But I think 53, man, it's just for a team to only have 7 offensive linemen. Yeah, it kills me. And maybe I'm just, as a former offensive lineman, that's not fair. But I remember I didn't have a backup one year, and you talk about tired. I couldn't imagine having to play all 5 positions. That's pretty much what they want you to do now. And yeah, I think 53, it's another discussion. So we're going to really get the most notes on, I think, on offensive line and defensive linemen for, the position that we know that matters, but just some names we're not familiar with because we're having guys drop out, at the end. So I'm looking at some other guys here. Let's kind of do some cleanup duty here. So Austin Barber touched on him.
I like Max Iheanachor.
Okay.
How do you pronounce it? From Arizona State. I did a Arizona State preseason scouting report for draft professors. Okay. He was one of the guys I did, and he really stuck out, man. I think he had a good year too. Everybody's talking about him like he's Doc Ray's, so I'm excited to see him this week. He's one of my favorite tackles. He's a true tackle. He's 6'5", 325. He's not going to move inside. And a lot of these guys, everybody's saying, move him inside, move him inside. You can't move every tackle inside. Then there's going to be no tackles. Because, you can't say about every single tackle.
It's not that easy.
And it's not easy, but also you can't – somebody has to play tackle.
You're going to go from tackles they're pulling on – you rarely pull guard and center at the next level in the NFL. So if you're a tackle and you're pulling, it's mostly on screens. You're might be taking a guy who's only pulled a couple times and to pull – a lot, and it's just hard. As a guy, I had to struggle with pulling because depending on which system you go, they either want you to pull into the line or kind of loop, depending on what you're doing. So, yeah, I think it's like you said, you can't just move a guy inside, and vice versa. You can't just move a guy outside and expect to go up there and go against the freaks of nature that we got a defensive end, which that's another thing. Shout out to the Senior Bowl for calling these guys defensive ends and not edge rushers. So shout out to that old school kicking in. It's defensive ends. I feel like we woke up one day and everybody was an edge rusher.
Edge rusher means you don't have to play the run. The edge rusher to me is he only rushes the passer. You can't stop the run at all. DN means you can do both. So give me DNs all day. Don't give me edges. Okay, I agree.
If anyone's watching, shout out to everyone that's watching right now. I got a little over almost 120 in here now. If anyone's big fans of Carver Willis from Washington, tell us what you think about him. Logan Taylor, Boston College. Really curious to see those 2 guys as well. And Jeremiah Wright from Auburn. Those guys really can't wait to see if we get some more notes on. I haven't scouted those too much. So really get to see, curious in how they play out and really what shakes out here down in Mobile. Practices get started here soon. Was it tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow, already practices start. We had to come down 2 days early, so my days are all messed up. So I hope everyone's safe back at home. And for the people that didn't get to make it, we really miss you. Shout out to Randall. Hopefully he gets down here. Jim with Draft Professor. Shout out to him. It sucks he's not here. But, I know he's doing some shows as well. Hopefully maybe be able to get him in at some point. But if you're driving down or flying down today, stay safe because, got to have everybody here, man, as much people as we can get. So, fellas, offense and defensive line, it's pretty much set. Guys dropping out at the end. We did have some guys drop out at the end last year, but not this late.
Yeah.
So it's a little concerning, but we get to talk to some guys. We got the introductory press conference at 3:30 our time, so 4:30 Eastern. So tune into that. Jim Nagy obviously not here for the director. We got Drew Fabianic, first year as a director, a lot of NFL experience. So they don't hire just anybody. They hire guys that's been around, been doing this a long damn time. Take all of our years, probably multiply them times 10. They've been doing that, in the football world. So that's the best thing about the Senior Bowl. It's the best of the best. And shout to Molly, who runs media, that's been taking care of us and taking care of everybody. So shout out to her. And fellas, pretty much the ball's kicked off. We are here at Jags Corner. If anybody wants to, throughout the week, pull up, we're going to post a schedule later today. Having more guests come on. Anthony Russo throughout the week. Bill Carroll throughout the week. Randall, if he's here. Hopefully Randall makes it. And we get some more guys pulling up. But any final thoughts, fellas, just kind of on O-line and D-line? It's obviously going to affect running backs. It's going to affect quarterbacks. I think all these quarterbacks need good offensive line play this week. I think it's gonna translate. I don't think we're gonna see a lot of passing, man. I really don't. But with some of these later defensive guys, I think the chance of points go up. What are you guys thinking of this being a high scoring game, low scoring game? Obviously, practice hasn't started, but what do you all think going in?
Okay, so I think it's going to be a low scoring game because defense is way easier to play in a week.
Yeah.
I think all the All-Star games are, if they're actually playing hard like this one, not like the Pro Bowl used to be. If you're actually playing hard, they're low scoring because it's way easier to get a defense together in a week. All you got to do is know your responsibility on defense. And you only got to know 3 or 4 plays at some positions. At corner, cover 1, cover 2, cover 3, cover 4. You got to know 4 things at corner. It's really easy. And offense, you got to know what the other receivers are running too. So you get your depth right and everything. So I just think it's really hard for offense to gel in 1 week, especially with you're not even getting a lot of reps with the same guys. Different playbook for everybody. You're learning a new playbook on the fly. I just think offense is really hard, even if it's, which I think the skills level is about even offense to defense. Even if the offense is way better than the defense, I still think it would be hard to score a lot of points in this setting. And with the weather being cold, I think it might be a lot more running than last year. I mean, there's going to be 36 on game day as a high. It's not your typical football weather, especially for Mobile, Alabama.
Yeah. If there is any hope for a high-scoring game, it's the fact that you got a bunch of these edge rushers who aren't playing.
Yeah.
So there's a lot less threat of, pass rush negative plays, but I do think Dalton's right. Where defense in a week is way easier to get, just keep everything in front of you, keep it that simple, versus offenses can't really get into the nuances of the advanced schemes, things like that. So I would lean that we have a lower scoring game, but you do have more stars on defense opting out than you do on offense, which is the only hope for a high score.
Yeah, and you all make great points. It's really hard to get continuity in a week.
Mm-hmm.
Played on a couple all-star teams, and it's all only on offense. And man, it's hard to really get your bread and butter going, and it's really hard to see what your money plays are going to be, especially when you got guys rotating.
Mm-hmm.
I played center, so even just doing an under center snap is different from one guy to the next. It's not the same. So we'll see. Maybe we'll see some trick plays. We saw one last year. Jackson Dart threw a tutty on a trick play last year, I'm pretty sure. And we'll see how it shakes out. If it's anything close as last year, we're in for an exciting game.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Beck's with the game-winning touchdown catch. Seth Hennigan led them on an 85-yard, 90 drive. And it was just fireworks. It was it was kind of some downtime in the middle, but it was really exciting at the beginning and really exciting at the end. And I think, you know what, man? I think it's going to be awesome all 4 quarters. Why? Because we don't know what we're getting. And because we have some guys, that are really wanting to make their names. And I think the D-line could wreck this game, and O-line could obviously wreck this game as well. That's where we're going to see. I think by the second practice, we're going to see the game style. We're going to see, okay, are they going to air it out a little bit more? Are they going to keep it on the ground? Are they just going to, I don't know, are they just going to rotate guys? Cole Payton is a guy I'm looking at. Are they going to do some more design runs? And that's going to affect the blocking schemes. I think the last thing I want to touch on, because this kind of some questions I want to throw to you guys. What is the biggest, I think, thing that we have to really kind of adjust? I'm asking that because are we going to see a lot of east to west? Are we going to see some more north south? With our wide receivers, we don't know a lot about some of these guys. Ted Hurst is a guy who's getting a lot of love, but he hasn't touched the field yet. Mm-hmm. Are we going to see more of an east-west game or more of a north-south game? Because I think Cole Payton's going to kind of determine that. What do you think?
I wouldn't be shocked if it's more north-south. I think it's relatively simple. I don't think anything goes too crazy. It's just guys, just trying to show what they can do. I mean, you'll probably see both, right? Because like we talk about how NFL teams, they want to see these guys be able to do everything. Yeah. So I want to see how this receiver operates in both of those. I want to see how, this D-line, these linebackers operate in both of those. So you probably see a bit of both, actually.
I mean, you mentioned Cole Payton running. I think you still got to mention Diego Pavia and Taylon Green running. So you got 3 quarterbacks that like to run a lot, not just one. And that's 3 out of 6. That's half of them. So I think, you're right. There's going to be a lot of north-south. I think they're going to hit QB runs, a lot of running. But I would like to see, like I said earlier in the week, a 50-50 game plan, 50% running pass, kind of try to split down the middle so you get a good look at everything. And especially for the line, you got to see they can pass block and run block, not just one or the other.
I guess since we're on the O-line, I know it's going to determine how the pocket plays out and all that good stuff, right? It's vital. Which we're going to touch on. Our quarterback preview will drop tonight on YouTube if you didn't get to catch that on Twitter. So it kind of plays into it. Are we going to see Diego Pavia more outside the pocket, or are they going to try to put him in the pocket and stay strong and see what they got? I think they're going to have him outside the pocket a lot. What do you think?
I mean, they're going to probably tell him, dude, stay in the pocket. I'm not sure he's going to. I think he's going to keep rolling out and doing what he does, which is make highlight plays that seem impossible.
Yeah.
And, will that work in the NFL long term? Probably not, but it's fun.
It is fun.
I do think that we'll see a good bit of that. I think you'll see both because he will need to show that he can do it in the pocket if he wants to get a good draft. But overall, I mean, I think you'll see him play the same way he's been playing, which is kind of free and loose. Go do what he can do.
Yeah, and I mean, Heisman finalist here, so that's always, a credit to him. Some people want to say maybe he didn't handle the process, however, but he's here and he's ready to play ball. I got to give him credit for that. We didn't have any Heisman finalists last year, right? I don't think we had any Heisman finalists, so hats off to him to showing up and really wanting to prove his worth and talk to every single team. Diego Pavia gets to talk to every single team this week, but it's keeping it on the scheme thing. I think they're going to have some RPOs and some screens a lot with Diego Pavia. I think don't be surprised when you see him run, but I don't think anything's going to be designed.
Right.
I think we're going to see him. I think we're going to have him roll out a lot, and then his second read's going to be just a takeoff. And I think we're going to see a good amount of that. I want to see with Cole Payton as well. I think it's going to be a similar game plan, but I could see them pulling just some straight up running quarterback powers, some quarterback draws with Cole Payton a lot. What do you think? Do you think they're going to? Do you have any design runs? More design runs with Cole Payton, or more design runs with Taylon Green? What do you think? Who's going to run more?
I think Taylon because I mean, he's got an absolute nuke of an arm, so that's kind of already been out there.
Yeah.
I think that, when the thing with Taylon Green is probably just more, how consistent can he throw the ball, but I'm not sure if that's even necessarily something that they want to address in this game. I think this is more of a showcase. You'll get to the combine, things like that for more accuracy. So I think that Green will just be kind of taken off because you want to prove that you can, he's been doing it against some of the other SEC teams who maybe don't have, the caliber of, DB or linebacker that's at the Senior Bowl.
Right.
So I want to, you want to see that this week. So I think that Green's going to run a good bit.
I like it. Me too. I think we're going to see a lot. And he's a freak. And he's one of those guys that's like, man, I wish he's a couple years younger.
Yeah.
But, man, he can throw a tight spiral. We brought it up on the quarterback thing. That dude, he's got a rocket of an arm. And he could be a sleeper. We never know. You're an injury away. You're a play away from being on the field next year as an NFL quarterback. So, we have to, pay attention to all these guys. And I can't wait to see how it plays out starting off tomorrow as they get on the field. And, man, that's pretty much don't have really too much else on the offensive line, defensive line. Everything else is kind of TBT. Now we're at to be determined. All the pre-talk is kind of coming to an end, and now it's like, all right, show us on the field, and show us what you can do as a, what you're hyped up to do. Let's see if you can really do it, and let's see how versatile you are. I guess we'll end on that. What do you think is going to be the emphasis? We'll start with you, Will. Do they want to see something that you've been advertised as good at, or do they want to see something you haven't done before? What do you think is the mindset going in?
They've got to go with things you haven't done before, right? Because, everything that's already on tape in the game. So, like with Pavia, we can roll out and improvise. Let's see you in the pocket. Can you see over your big guards and centers? Can you do all that? So, obviously it's more fun to see what these guys they're good at doing. But for the sake of the football reasons, you got to see what they haven't done yet. You got to have them prove they can be an all-around player in the pros.
Like they say, the draft starts in Mobile. It really does. This is a week where they found out your strengths and weaknesses. Yes. And what you're really good at, your biggest skill, and if it's worth getting drafted high, or, everybody got that skill. He's not that good at it either. He's going to fall. This is a big week for that. You see a lot of guys dropping out, and so the guys that come and replacing them, they're going to have a lot to prove. It's like, damn, we were afterthoughts. They didn't really want us. They didn't get us till these guys dropped out. So, like, these guys, late additions, Fred Davis, Skylar Thomas, guys that, I don't know much about. Most people probably don't. These are the guys I'm really looking forward to seeing because they got the chip on their shoulder. So you didn't invite us till 2 days before the event? Okay. I'm going to show out. That's what I'm thinking. I'm looking at the guys I'm looking at the late invites, man.
Good point.
Honestly.
Good point. I think you're going to see some guys with chips on their shoulder, right? And then with the strengths thing, I guess we'll touch on that before we end out. I think we want to see, okay, is this a real strength of yours, or was this a strength because of scheme?
Right.
Was this something, was this a coaching thing? Did they put you in a position to win and to succeed, or are you just that much of a dog? So I think that's a big question they have, and we'll find out. That's the thing with Gray's Abel. He answered all the questions, right? He said, all right, yes, I played for a powerhouse, the FCS. Yes, I maybe didn't play against some competition, but guess what? It was all there. The talent was always there, and you pretty much just had to have him prove it. Are we going to have another rise up? Maybe not 2 full rounds, but I'll say it again. You're going to, if you don't like the words Trey Zuhn, maybe this isn't the program for you for a week because Trey Zuhn's going to have a hell of a week. And if he comes out and has really bad week, I'll be the first one to say it. But I just know that's not going to happen just from the background. Football is the definition of a reps game. It's a muscle memory game. They want to get as much reps as you can, and the more reps, the better. And I'm telling you, this guy's got a lot of reps.
Mhm.
So he's one of the few where I'm like, okay, just do what you've always done. And so I guess we'll kind of end on that. Any final thoughts, guys, on the trenches? Anything we didn't touch on? I know, like I said, everything else is pretty much to be determined from here on out as they get on the field. But anything kind of you want to close out on our final thoughts, Will?
I just love that, you can't hide this week. You could have hidden a scheme. You could have hidden at the school you're at. You can't hide this week. If you're going to be a legit pro, you got to show it out this weekend. So I'm really excited to see how that plays out throughout the week.
Once we get into full contact, something I'm interested to seeing is a very underrated skill is running backs pass blocking.
Mhm.
Because that's always the thing that you see in the scouting reports. This guy struggles at pass blocking. Every running back coming out. So this is a big week to prove it. I mean, a lot of guys, you don't even do it in college a lot of times, They don't really keep backs in a lot to block. Yeah. So this is the first week you're really doing that. I'm looking at that a lot. And I touched on Diego. I haven't said nothing about him yet. I don't personally, I wouldn't take him no matter how good of a week he has, just because he's 5'9". But if he
UDFA no matter what.
I mean, he's better than Dylan Gabriel, though. But I'm not the Browns. I'm not the Browns GM. I wouldn't have drafted Dylan Gabriel last year.
So
He's better than Dylan Gabriel, though.
Is he going to get drafted just off being a quarterback?
I think he'll get drafted. Yeah, he'll get drafted, bro. 7th or 6th round, though. If somebody picks him 3rd, I'll be shocked. Like, it takes a bad franchise to do that. But, man, I do love his game. It sucks that he's 5'9". If he was 6'2",
But the quarterback class sucks.
yeah, it does.
I think he's definitely going to get drafted just as a result of there aren't 4 or 5 of the quarterbacks. And I'm like, these guys can be franchise dudes.
Is that because of the portal, you think? I think so.
It can be attributed.
Chambliss should be in this game.
A lot of people
Yeah.
Chambliss should be here. I think that's strictly off NIL why he's not. Maybe that's just a mystery to us. More info will come out why he's not in this game, right? I mean, because he should be, in my opinion, especially with the quarterback class. And then you have other guys too. It's like you should definitely be in this game. So it's like, is this an NIL thing why we don't have him? Or like you said, is this just a down year for quarterbacks? Every year you're not going to have Pro Bowl guys. You're not going to have 3 franchise guys in every draft.
Mhm.
So I'm really curious to see how that. You said running back pass blocking is something you're really really curious to see, right, Dalton?
Yes,
That's a good call.
absolutely. It's the first time a lot of these guys are doing it, man.
Okay, and then I'm trying to think of some guys we saw last year that did pretty good. That Etienne, I know he had a pretty good week there in practice last year. He did a little bit of blocking. What's some other backs that we had? I know Damian Martinez had a really good week.
Last year,
Just trying to think of some comps here. Like, okay, are we going to see this that we saw last year kind of rise? Because, I'll bring it up. We saw a lot of good running backs have good, in the pass game. They were making a lot of good route running. I remember, Brashard Smith, and then Etienne. There's a video on our highlights. Etienne made a guy fall. Oh, yeah, the camera?
Yeah.
Oh, it's messed up.
It turned around.
Yeah.
It's like, what the heck? Sorry, guys.
Yeah, sorry about that. All right, they can still hear us still, so that's
Yeah,
good.
they can still hear us. I just looked down. I was like, showing the Jags Corner sign, which, hey, shout out.
Yeah.
Free promotion right here.
Yeah, shout Jags Corner. We got a little technical difficulties, but that's okay. We're in and out here. Guys, as we're rotating this camera, they're getting a nice look at Jags Corner.
Yeah, there you go.
Pull up to Jags Corner all week. We are
That was
here
planned,
live.
actually.
Yeah.
We did that on purpose.
Yeah, we got a nice pan view here. So type in Jags Corner on your GPS, and if you're close to the stadium, you won't have to do too much traveling because it's pretty much right across the street from the campus.
Mhm.
It's a big campus, but it's really close to the campus, close to the stadium. And, we're here all week. We're going to have a schedule posted later today, just exactly when we will be here, but can't wait. Our guy Jared's keeping us, just taking good care of us. So, I mean, awesome card selection here. If you're a card guy, memorabilia guy, we got some signed Alabama helmets. We got a Heisman football trophy that's signed by a lot of Joe Burrow. Yeah, Joe Burrow's signature on that. I saw that. We got Nikola Jokic above us, Shohei Ohtani, Doncic, shout Luka.
Nature Boy, Flair, in wrestling, like they got everything in there.
Yeah, they do.
Every sport covered.
They do, especially from our neck of the woods. There's only like one card store in the whole city, and honestly, I feel more at home here. It's really chill. I like it here, and come on down to Jags Corner. If there's a game on, you can catch the game. They got Madden Sims going on. I mean, you name it under the sports umbrella, we got it. And Jags Corner, man, they got everything under the sun. I'm looking at some NBA, some NFL. They got a Brandon Clark card I want.
Pokemon too.
Yep,
Look at that.
if you're a Pokemon, go get come get you a Charizard. Then they got you a Charizard. I know about 3 Pokemons. Squirtle.
Pikachu.
Yeah, and then I'm trying to think of a real Mewtwo. Mewtwo. Yeah, Mewtwo.
Mewtwo,
Yeah, Mewtwo. And then if you're a Jags fan, they got official Jags merch as well, South Alabama. So shout out. I really like the size of the stadium. I think it's like the Hancock Whitney. It's perfect size. And then I can't wait. So shout out to everyone that's going to be in attendance. Practices are obviously open to the public, and that's going to be a hell of a time. But fellas, pretty much wrapping it up. Like we said, we got Big Markel Bell on the screen, some new additions, Brockenmeyer, new additions, some new faces we're going to get familiar with, and I cannot wait. Don't have too much to go over. What is the kind of final thoughts we have here before we wrap up?
I wish it was 10 degrees warmer, but I'm fired up.
Me too. What do you think, Dalton?
Last thoughts. I hope it's as good as last year. I think it will be. I mean, I have high hopes.
More surprises.
It's apparently it's better for the players. The new, scout the schedule. They did their interviews in the morning instead of at night, and apparently the players really like that. So it seems more player friendly this week, and I think that's what it's all about, man. Is the players having a good week and making them feel at home because it's our last college game.
Yeah, we're having, just the nature of the game. We're having to tailor to the players a little more than they ever have because, they're the moneymakers, man. Really got to, address the elephants in the room. They're the guys people want to go see. Good coaching is great, but people show up for the players. And we're really going to see who the studs are here this week. Some risers, some guys that we already know good that kind of just backed up everything we already thought. And we can't wait. So don't have really too much else. Come down to Jags Corner throughout the week. And heck of a spot here. A lot of good food places around here. Can't wait. I haven't gained as much weight as I wanted to so far. So I'm really to hope to get on the ball and improve on that and get better at that. I have to get better at gaining weight.
Me too. I always eat that.
Yeah, I have to get better. I got to just, I didn't eat Mexican food for a whole week leading up here because I was ready for that Roosters burrito. So I'm ready to get that. Shout out to Roosters. And what's some other go-tos we're going to give a shot? TP Crockmeyer's. Baumhauer's. Great spot to eat. Good wings. And then, they have a banana pudding, like fried banana pudding burrito chimichanga deal. Me and Dalton are thinking about just taking their idea and just going state fair to state fair. And maybe, we'll have enough money to, fund our own Senior Bowl here with all. Because, probably the best top 5 dessert I've ever had in my life.
It's up there.
Yeah, it was great. So where was that? Baumhauer's.
Really good spot. Great menu.
Yeah.
For a sports bar. It's a sports bar through and through. There's like 1,000 TVs in there.
Yeah, we've been here. Yeah, it's one.
Sports bar menu.
It's
etouffee and stuff like that.
It's one of those places where it's designed for no matter where you sit, you got a TV, and it's a great place. Catch a game and to catch a Senior Bowl if you're not going to be there in attendance. So shout out to Baumhauer's. And I had one other thing I wanted to bring up with Baumhauer's. And just slipped my mind. Probably be there again though. Oh yeah. That's what it was. Only been here 2 days. I've had etouffee twice. So I've had crawfish etouffee and I had shrimp etouffee last night. So we're in Cajun country. If you like Cajun food, you're in paradise. No better place to be if you like football, good food, and good people. Because every person we meet here down in Mobile for the past 2 years. It's been awesome, man. It feels like family. We get treated like family here. Jags Corner, just to name a few. It's been awesome. They're showing a replay of the Packers-Dallas game, which we tied. So I'm not going to look at that. But don't have too much more to say, fellas. Shout out to 152 people live. Shows are only going to be coming. We're going to have post-practice shows at night. And then we do have an off day on Friday, which – as many shows as we can fit in, as many people as we can, we'll try to do and pretty much get the 411 on everything that's been unfolding here in Mobile. I can't wait. Shout out to everyone that's been tuning in. And I've said it again, but final thoughts, boys. Got anything to add?
I'm good. I'm just fired up.
Let's get it, man. We're got to go to the meeting here and the press conference opening in about an hour and a half and kick off the week. Let's get it started, man. I'm ready. I'm ready too. Shout out to everyone tuning in. Home Squad Sports will keep you posted throughout the week. And stay tuned. Quarterback preview will be released tonight. See you. Peace.
It's Wright DK, wide receiver from Florida, Home Squad Sports. This is Jacob Harris, and shout out to Home Squad Sports.
Hey, it's Jake Brenningsool with Home Squad Sports.
This is Seth Hennigan here with Home Squad Sports.
It's Wright DK, wide receiver.